Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today's story is about room 404. For decades, this room has been the subject of rumor and speculation, appearing in countless creepypastas and urban legends. The details of the story change depending on who you talk to. Some say it's a room where guests are never seen again. Others claim there are unspeakable horrors hidden within its walls. But what is the truth behind room 404? And what happens to those unlucky enough to stumble across it? It all began in 1936, when the Hotel Cecil opened its doors in Los Angeles. For the first few years, business was good, and the Cecil became known for its luxurious accommodations and attentive service. However, by the 1960s, the hotel's reputation had taken a dark turn. Over the years, several guests had died under mysterious circumstances. While staying in room 404, people started talking about an evil entity that lurked within the room's confines, preying on the unsuspecting and dragging them into the abyss. Whether or not these deaths were actually linked to the room itself, or simply a product of coincidence, no one knows for sure. But one thing is certain: the rumors refused to die. In fact, things got so bad that management decided to seal off room 404 and remove all references to its existence. This only fueled speculation further, turning room 404 into a kind of urban legend. It's said that anyone who enters the room is never seen again. Perhaps they become trapped in a parallel dimension or are lost to the ether. Maybe they're simply absorbed into the very fabric of the universe and cease to exist. Whatever the case may be, those who venture into room 404 are never seen again. Despite the danger, some people still seek out the room, hoping to uncover its secrets. After all, if there really is an evil presence in there, then maybe we can find a way to stop it before it claims its next victim. But more than likely, they just want to experience the thrill of entering somewhere they're not supposed to go. Of course, this comes at a risk because, according to legend, once you cross the threshold of room 404, there's no turning back. You'll either be trapped forever or worse, brought face to face with whatever lies in wait behind the door. But if you're careful and quick thinking, perhaps you can escape with your life intact. All you have to do is stay away from room 404 at all costs and pray that whatever entity resides within doesn't reach out and grab you before you can get away. Christopher Carlton was a journalist who dared to investigate the infamous room 404. He spoke with former hotel employees and guests, poring over old documents and records in an attempt to piece together what really happened in that room. His findings were both fascinating and disturbing, revealing a dark history that few knew about until now. Christopher discovered that throughout the years, many people had met mysterious ends inside room 404. There were strange disappearances without a trace, unexplained deaths in the middle of the night, and even reports of ghostly apparitions caught on security cameras. He also learned of a malevolent force that seemed to linger around the room, causing objects to move on their own and whispers to echo through the halls when no one was present. As Christopher delved deeper into his research, he uncovered a pattern of events that pointed to something sinister lurking within room 404. It almost felt as if an evil presence was reaching out from beyond the grave, manipulating events to ensure its continued existence. The more he learned, the more convinced he became that there was a real danger hiding behind the door. He could feel it watching him, waiting for him to make a move so it could strike. Fear gnawed at his resolve, but curiosity burned brighter, driving him forward despite the risk. With each passing day, Christopher grew closer to uncovering the truth behind room 404 and the darkness that lay within. But as he neared the end of his investigation, he realized that some things are best left unknown. What he found out in those final moments was so terrifying that it shook him to his core, forcing him to confront a horrifying reality he never could have imagined. When researching room 404, Christopher came across an unsettling statistic. Between 1936 and 2021, there were 171 deaths associated with the hotel. Of those, 60 took place in room 404 alone. Naturally, this raised many questions, not least of which was why did so much death and tragedy seem to be concentrated in a single room? As he dug deeper into the records, he began to piece together a grim picture of what might be happening here. Most of the deaths in room 404 were guests who had checked in and never checked out. In some cases, their bodies were found days or even weeks later, decomposed and barely recognizable. There were signs of struggle, suggesting a violent struggle had taken place before their untimely demise. Other times, however, guests simply vanished without a trace, leaving behind all their belongings as if they deplanned to check out but never made it to the lobby. Christopher could unhelp but wonder if these people had somehow stumbled onto something they were unsupposed to see, or perhaps encountered a malevolent entity that lurked within the walls. As he continued his search for answers, Christopher uncovered even more disturbing facts about room 404. He learned that several staff members had also died under mysterious circumstances, seemingly connected to the same dark presence that haunted the room. Was it possible that an evil spirit or otherworldly being was responsible for all this death and destruction? Or could there be another explanation altogether? Determined to get to the bottom of it, Christopher pressed on, determined to uncover the truth no matter the cost. But what he found would change everything. The more time Christopher spent investigating room 404, the more convinced he became that something sinister lurked within its walls. He gathered stories from former guests and staff, each adding another layer to the puzzle. One recurring theme among them was the feeling of dread that seemed to permeate the room, an oppressive atmosphere that weighed heavily on those who dared enter. Many described feeling watched, as if unseen eyes followed their every move. Others sensed a cold spot in the air, no matter how warm it was outside. And some even heard whispers coming from the walls, disembodied voices that spoke to them just beyond the edge of hearing. These accounts, while unsettling, gave Christopher a sense of purpose. If there was a malevolent force residing in room 404, he wanted to know its story and put an end to its reign of terror. But as he delved deeper into his research, he uncovered a disturbing pattern. Each story seemed to build upon the last, creating a tapestry of fear and despair that threatened to consume him. He learned of guests who had booked room 400 for only to change their minds at the last minute after experiencing inexplicable phenomena. Doors slamming shut, objects moving on their own, and the feeling that they were being observed intensified. The longer they stayed in the room, the more tormented they became, until finally succumbing to the unseen presence lurking within. Driven by a need for answers, Christopher pressed on, determined to unravel the mystery surrounding room 404. Yet he could unshake the feeling that he was treading on dangerous ground. Every new discovery brought him closer to uncovering the truth. But it also put him at greater risk of becoming another victim claimed by the darkness that consumed room 404. As Christopher continued his investigation, he began noticing strange occurrences around him, too. Lights flickered ominously in the dead of night. Footsteps echoed down empty hallways, and whispers brushed against his ear when no one else was present. At first, he dismissed them as tricks of the light or figments of his imagination, the byproduct of a stressed mind searching for answers. But as time went on, these incidents grew more frequent, occurring at random intervals and growing steadily more intense. Fear gnawed at him, yet his determination to uncover the truth behind room 404 pushed him forward. He couldn't ignore these signs. They were a clear indication that something powerful stirred within the walls of the old hotel. But what exactly was it, and how could he hope to stop it before it claimed another victim? Christopher knew he was close to uncovering the truth about room 404, but he also felt the darkness closing in around him. The stakes had never been higher, and the risks even greater. He had to find a way to put an end to the evil lurking within before it consumed him. With a deep breath, Christopher stepped into the room. The door slammed shut behind him, and the lights went out. Trapped in total darkness, he could hear the whispers growing louder, swirling around him in a cacophony of sound. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, its eyes glowing an eerie red in the darkness. Christopher screamed and stumbled back, but there was nowhere to go. The figure advanced slowly, inexorably towards him, its presence growing stronger with each step. Terror gripped him as he realized the truth. All these years, room 404 had remained sealed off, not because of a simple plumbing issue, but to contain the evil that resided within. Now, as the darkness closed in around him, he understood the danger he had unleashed by opening this door. He had disturbed an ancient evil that should have remained buried forever. And as the creature loomed closer, he knew there was only one thing he could do. Reaching out, Christopher grabbed the doorknob and turned the handle. The door swung open, revealing the bright hallway beyond. Without hesitation, he dashed out, racing down the corridor and away from the sound of his pursuers' enraged screams. He could feel its burning gaze upon him, promising swift retribution for daring to disturb its slumber. Vowing never to look back, Christopher fled, determined to escape the clutches of room 404 and the malevolent entity that haunted it forever. But as he ran, he knew that this was only the beginning. The darkness that had awakened within room 404 would not rest until he was truly gone. Thank you all for watching. Which room number do you think is the most haunted? Let me know in the comments below. If you like stories like these, please follow for more updates. Thanks again for watching, and take care.